Welcome back, boys and some girls. This is a series where I will update every once in a while. I don't know what is a while, but every once in a while I will bring you up to date and will tell you about news for the Lotharia server. And I will show you things like player focus, the node updates, maybe a bit of server drama depending on what will happen to add some spice. I kind of covered what happened previously on some of the videos since the server start, but it wasn't the same, and I just want to do a small recap. It's not going to be small at all. The night before launch we got a notice that there will be one server for each region with a backup for the US server. For Lotharia, this means 3 servers turning into one. Quite a few people were angry and not happy, me included. I wasn't angry, but I wasn't happy. I made a whole video in my opinion, so I won't repeat again. Besides that, we had a wipe 3 hours after launch because some people were not able to join in, so launch was kind of delayed a few hours. On launch, we all spawned in the church, same as always, and most people went to Line Hall while some of them went to Samia's Hope. Most of the players got their mount and just headed east to the low-level dungeons and point of interest as always. And just like phase 1, most of the people went into Titan's Ring. That is an AFK-able event that gave you 12k EXP every 12 to 15 minutes, kind of, not sure about the exact time. And all you had to do is simply be in the area or maybe hit 1 minute, or that's pretty much it. Due to the high capacity of players with a very limited amount of mobs that is caused by bugs, with the main one being mobs spawning underground, which slowly reduced the amount of mobs that player could actually farm. As such, many players simply went to Titan's Ring to AFK, doing some artisan in between, chopping some trees, fishing some fish, stuff like that. However, some players decided to completely abuse this bug and they simply left their character in a safe place in the area, earning free XP over time. The devs saw that, they didn't want this to happen, they wanted to fight against the abusers, so what they did, they spawned bears that kill all the AFK players in the area. After that, they changed the event to have a much longer cooldown, and obviously at that time every single point of interest was full of players. Places like Oakbane Keep were bugged and they had no mobs inside of it besides like 12 Grim that spawned in the circle in the middle. So a lot of players really did not know where to go or what to do. Around the same time, Mirleth reached level 3 and election were underway, soon followed by Winstead and Jova. The 3 elected mayors were Jack from Fortune's Wrath is the mayor of Mirleth, Ludocrat from Hands of Unity is the mayor of Winstead, Virdana from Cartel is the mayor of Jova. The server continued to be full with tens of players in every corner. The spawn bug was still not fixed, and the server was empty of any mobs or tier 1 resources swallowed by the sea of players. Later on, Halcyon and New Ayla also followed and reached the village stage, and at the end of the vote, Sunaurus from Odin was chosen to be the mayor of Halcyon. Bowling Ace from Pot of Greed was the mayor of New Ayla. After all 5 mayors of the Riverland were chosen, it was time for a plan. However, some mayors already started building buildings, and due to the fact that you can only have 16 journeyman professions out of 22, due to only 8 nodes being available right now, there was a need for compromising. Problem is, no matter what profession was actually chosen to stay at apprentice level, someone wasn't happy and someone would complain. There were a lot of trouble and a lot of redoing, but this is the plan currently that was decided. All the professions that you see on the left side of each box are the professions that will reach journeyman level. The rest of them that do not appear in this picture will stay at apprentice level until more nodes are added, or level 4 nodes will be a thing in the game. Let's go back to overall server progression. At this point, mobs were fixed, but the spawn was the same spawn that it was for the 3rd amount of players in phase 1, and as such, mobs were still a problem. So in the end, Intrepid increased the respawn rate for the mobs, and it did help. However, many players were already discouraged and realized that phase 2 is just phase 1 with freeholds and 3 more nodes to play with, and they expected more, and as such, this amount of players actually stopped playing, and it leads us to today, where it is much easier to find mobs and resources to farm due to lower number of players and increased respawn rate. I skipped many small things as well as drama between guilds and players, and because it seems to be so common in this phase for some reason. I'm not sure if it was the same in other servers, but in Lotharia and phase 1 there wasn't this much toxicity and just people wanting to win and not wanting to play. The most simple example I can give is when you compete with someone over something, like for example, I'm a gatherer. When you compete with someone over like a huntable something, then they would say, okay, you take one, I take one. You could make a deal. Okay, give me 3, I will go away. Stuff like that. But now it's just like instantly kill, stun, just there's no speaking. It's no longer, it doesn't feel like an MMO. It doesn't feel like a community anymore. It feels like a single player race. To share some drama with you, it seems like we do have the villains for the server. It's a guild named Soldeus. They attack every caravan. Sometimes they take bribes to let caravan pass. The next thing is second-handed. Don't take this as a fact. It's a hearsay. I just heard it from other people, from a few people, not from a single person, but it's just things I heard. So you take it, you know. What I heard is that they actually abuse bugs. And I have not played the judge, so I don't have any proof, but I guess the best judgment will be to just wait for Intrepid actions and see what happened, which will kind of show us what did or didn't happen. One thing that didn't change with the buffs that Intrepid did due to the player base is hunting. Rarity does seem fixed now, as I have gotten an epic carcass. Watch that, cool, huh? But the faster respawn for the same 7 spots doesn't really matter, where every spot is being guarded by a lifeguard that is just waiting for a spawn to run and grab it. The only point that PvP could actually solve this problem were the crocs in the tropics, which were being sold for insane prices considering they are 100% chance mount. They were being sold for 10 to 12 gold each. To give you a point of reference, in phase 1, I sold a ton of crocs all across my server, and I sold them for 4 gold each. So yeah, the merchants are greedy. So what I tried to do is I tried to do the same thing again, but I was being killed every single time I went anywhere near the crocs. So I simply brought protection with me. And I started an operation to undercut the greedy merchants and bring prices down. And I'm happy to report that it did work. For 2 days, until Steven announced that crocs are getting fixed anyway, so it didn't really work. I worked for a lot for no reason, but it's a funny story, I guess. Leveling the desert was kind of a problem due to the lack of point of interest, and it is still very much deserted, pun intended. But many big guilds made an effort to actually level up the nodes to the village stage, and after a long time, they did. I'm not sure if Steven had a hand in this, because it appears to happen overnight. But after a few days where every single night it increased by maybe 20%, so I'm not sure, but either way. They are also at the village stage, and the mayors are Azrael from Nephilim, the mayor of Aethanar. Joy Dragon from Black Company is the mayor of Asmaron. Decius from Aurora is the mayor of Sunhaven. Running around the server right now kind of feels like a few weeks before the end of phase 1, where most people stopped playing. Most of the players that I see are from the same few big guilds and nearly no new players. It does kind of make sense because there is not much different from phase 1 to test. My prediction and observation is that it's currently a playground for big guilds to play in and fight against each other, and it really seems to be the case. There's not much room for some random players to do too much. If you already tested everything in phase 1, you might want to take a break and come back later when there's more interesting features and system to test, if you tested everything in phase 1. I'll now show you what building every node has, so you will know what you can expect or what is already being built. Miraleth has all our buildings with agriculture supply, cookhouse, farm, and school of construction. Winstead has the woodshop and the smithy. Halcyon has the laboratory and the textile mill. Jova has the stone mason and smithy. Nuela has the woodshop. Eisenhower has the hideworks. Asmoran has a textile mill, and Sunhaven has hideworks. Right before I end this, I wrote the script like yesterday or something, and I fixed it a bit, but right before this, the node was dropped. Kind of, I don't know, it's kind of sad, but a node was dropped because of the guild not being able to keep it, because player numbers are low, nobody's donating. It's not the same as the Riverland. It's much harder to do because there is no resources much in the desert, just like minerals, a lot of minerals, but just minerals. So it's very much hard to keep it up. This will be the end of this update. Hopefully I covered everything, and if I didn't, I can always do it on the next one. I will obviously update you with what's happening to the desert node next time. We'll see. But that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why, so I can actually improve. Besides that, keep yourself safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.